Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me. Awesome show planned for you today. Steve Kim's going to join me. We're going to start out talking about Bronny James and why I'm calling Bronny James. I've come up with a new nickname, Third Base. For those of you that are into old school rap, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Third Base, pretty good rap group back in the 80s. LeBron James, Bronny James, born on third base. LeBron's trying to pretend like the guy overcame these incredible odds to make it to the NBA Summer League and the Lakers roster. He hasn't. The dude was born on third base, but I'll explain here in a second. Give me 1 second. First thing I want to tell you about is make sure you're checking out the extra Fearless content that you only get if you're a Blaze TV subscriber. Today, Shamika Michelle and I talked about Joe Biden. And Joe Biden seemed to ignore a little black girl at a campaign rally event. You guys have probably seen this over social media. He walks by the young black girl and starts engaging with some older women. People have tried to make a big deal about it. If you want to hear my thoughts, Shamika Michelle's thoughts on it, you need to be a Blaze TV subscriber. Go to blazetv.com/fearless. Use the promo code fearless, and you can save $20 on your yearly subscription. Extra Fearless. Become a Blaze TV subscriber. Best way to support me, best way to get this extra content that you won't get anyplace else. I want to thank you guys for joining me here today, and let's make sure we thank our great friends at Covenant Eyes. This episode is sponsored by Covenant Eyes. Living a porn-free life will bring you a new freedom to live honestly, and remember, accountability is not others calling you out on your sin, but others calling you up to the person you are in Christ. So what are you waiting for? Anyone can get started on their path to recovery for free by visiting covenanteyes.com and using my promo code FEARLESS for 30 days free. This is great, guys. On Friday, I was at a men's event, and we actually talked about porn, and I had an opportunity to suggest Covenant Eyes to different guys. So anyway, Covenant Eyes, great sponsor of the show. Thank them for supporting us, and it's a great tool if you're fighting the sin, the disease of pornography. Let's get back to today's show, and thank you, Covenant Eyes, for making this possible. I want to talk about Bronny James and why I'm now calling him Third Base. You got, for those of you that don't remember, Third Base was a rap group, I think out of New York. It featured two white Jewish guys, MC Search and Pete Nice. And then they had a third member that most people don't know, don't remember. He was called DJ Richie Rich. And that's kind of who Bronny James is. He's the third guy that no one remembers that was born on third base. But his dad keeps making the argument that, oh my God, he's just earned everything, and what an incredible odds Bronny has overcome. I want to play a couple of clips of LeBron James talking this weekend about Bronny's start to his NBA Summer League career. He played his first game over the weekend. I think he scored 4 points. I think he shot 2 of 9 from the field. He had 2 rebounds and maybe 2 assists, something like that. 21 minutes. And then he was so beat up from that heroic effort that he had to sit out the next game with a swollen knee. The 55th overall pick in the draft, Bronny James, off to a kind of an inauspicious start in the Summer League. We don't want to make too much of one game, but let's listen to Bron talk about Bronny.
I don't know if people really understand Bronny. He doesn't care. I actually cared a little bit when I came there. I wanted people to like me, and some of the things that people were saying about me, it kind of bothered me early on in my career. I let it get to me. Bronny doesn't give a He doesn't. Bronny plays, he works his tail off. When he's done, he goes home and plays his video game. He does not care about nobody. He doesn't even listen to that stuff. He's like the complete opposite of his dad.
So that's LeBron talking about his son and how He just doesn't care. He plays basketball, then he goes home and plays video game. Sounds like a great, hardworking kid. But let me play this second clip of LeBron James. I'm going to read the first part of it, then we'll play the second half of it. And this is where it really gets interesting to me. LeBron starts out saying, just imagine if you were a kid, you were born into a situation where your dad was super famous, super wealthy, and you, the kid, still had the drive to want to be able to accomplish things for yourself. I personally don't know if I would have been able to do that if the roles were reversed. Oh, just unbelievable. If LeBron was a super wealthy kid, he just doesn't know if he'd have the discipline to want to go out and play basketball. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And then here's how LeBron finished off those comments.
When I was coming up, I had no choice. I literally had no choice. I had to make it out. Like I had no choice. I had to make it out for me, my mom, my family. Bronny has all the choices in the world. So it's like a whole nother, people don't understand how hard that is in the commitment. For him to be coming out of heart surgery less than a year ago, for him to be able to be in the NBA, the kid he's special, but he doesn't care.
So first, LeBron hypes his own struggle. Oh my God, I had nothing. I had no choice. I had to make it for all these people. And thank God I'm 6'9" and was born with this incredible athleticism. And thank God that by the time I was 10 years old, all these people had figured out, like, holy cow, this kid's got incredible athleticism. And if we help him get across the finish line at age 18, he's going to be worth, hell, maybe probably by age 16, he'll be worth millions of dollars. We get him through high school and he'll be worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. We get him into the NBA and he's healthy. Oh my God, he may be a billionaire one day. I mean, LeBron had no choice but to be a huge basketball star. And I can't figure out if LeBron's trying to say how difficult it was for him. You know, he had no choice but to take advantage of all this athleticism. I've tried to point out to you all that you know what failure looks like for LeBron James? If LeBron James, when you're born with that much talent, athletic talent in this country, if LeBron had failed, he would be Michael Beasley. He would have made $50 million playing basketball in the NBA if he had failed. Because he's successful, he's made $500, $600 million just from playing basketball, and he's a billionaire. Hats off to him. Because he's successful, hats off to him. But then to turn it around and just like, oh my God, you just don't understand. Bronny has the drive. Oh my God, he has this incredible drive. He could do anything he wants. He could just lay on his rear end. He could just be a gamer. He could be a chef. But no, because of his incredible drive, he wants to play basketball. I mean, most kids and, most black kids, they don't want to play basketball. I mean, you know what kind of drive it takes to get a black kid to want to play basketball in America? You got to basically break out whips and chains and stick guns to their head. No one wants to play basketball. They all want to be doctors or lawyers or journalists. They don't want to play basketball. I mean, Bronny's drive, it's just incredible. I've just never, fame, money, idolatry creates the kind of delusion that LeBron is in. His kid was born on third base. His kid, of the members of third base, he's Richie Rich. His kid was third or fourth best player on his high school basketball team. His kid was sixth, seventh, or eighth best player on the USC basketball team. His kid was maybe the 120th best basketball prospect in this year's draft. And somehow he went 55th and got a guaranteed contract for nearly $8 million. And that's because of his drive. It's incredible. I mean, this kid could just lay up on his rear end and play video games every day. But no, he wants to be a basketball player. He's taking the road less traveled. I mean, I don't know any kids that really want to be in the NBA and would like to play basketball every day. I don't know any kids like that. You rarely meet kids that just want to play games for a living. It's incredible what Bronny has done. This is DJ Richie Rich and some helicopter dad that's forcing his kid into the NBA. That I don't want to overreact to one game, but this dude is barely 6'1". Anybody that watched any parts of that summer league game, the highlights of that summer league game, this isn't a great prospect. He looked out of place. He got his ankles broken twice. This isn't LeVar Ball's kid. I guarantee, who's the Liangelo, the Ball kid that didn't make it to the NBA? He would make short work of Bronny James. Remember how LeVar wanted to play Michael Jordan? I would love for Liangelo Ball, the third Ball brother, the one that didn't make it to the NBA, I'd love for he and Bronny James to play one-on-one. All of my money is on Liangelo Ball, and he probably, well, maybe he's playing overseas. I don't know. But this, I can't. LeBron James has turned his son into the Make-A-Wish kid. And everybody in the media is going to play along. Everybody is going to play along. Not everybody, because we're not, and there are a handful of people calling this out. But you've turned your son into the Make-A-Wish kid. Someone did, that picture of Bronny at the press conference, someone did a great photo, because the other kid, the white dude, is Dalton Connect from Tennessee. That was the Lakers' first-round draft pick. And someone showed a picture of how they were dressed at that press conference. And Dalton Connect's got a nice pair of slacks on, button-up shirt. LeBron's kids got on jeans, a hoodie, tennis shoes, sunglasses, or not sunglasses, but whatever. And they go, one guy showed up like he had earned the job, and another guy showed up like his dad got him the job. You can just see it in how they present themselves. Hey, my dad got me this job. I can show up dressed however I want. Hey, I earned this job. Let me make a good first impression at this press conference. Let me put on a pair of slacks and a dress shirt, look nice, respectable. And I know it's basketball, and I know that Pelinka, I think is dressed casually. But again, when you're the rookie, there's a way you show up to dress when you're not there because of nepotism, because your dad is the actual boss. You show up like you want to impress people. This is third base. That's my new nickname, DJ Richie Rich, third base. This kid, his dad has put him in a horrible spot. And the only people that can't see it are bronzesexuals and groupies and people that idolize LeBron James, and LeBron James can do no wrong. He's making an argument. The kid has the world as a buffet. Anything is available to him in the world. His dad is super famous. He can get all the tutors, he's never missed a meal. He's slept in comfort. This kid could do anything in the world. But let me pursue the one thing that I really don't have the talent for. Let me be a professional basketball player in the NBA, even though I'm not qualified. But my daddy will allow it. This dude LeBron James should be beating his chest if his son was valedictorian at some prestigious high school and headed off to some great college to be a doctor, cure cancer, a scientist, something. But no, he's traveled the road less traveled. He's a basketball player. And it's so courageous. Bronny just doesn't care. He's different than LeBron. Anyway, Steve Kim's going to join me here in a second to talk about Bronny James and a few other things. Before we get to Steve Kim, I want to thank and talk about our great friends at Preborn. You guys know why we support Preborn, because Preborn supports our worldview that life begins at conception. No organization supports that worldview better than Preborn. They provide ultrasounds to expectant mothers who are considering abortion. The ultrasound introduces that baby's heartbeat and image to the mother. Once that's done, the mother is now more than twice as likely to choose life. Preborn steps in, steps up, provides that woman the support she needs throughout the pregnancy and throughout that baby's first 2 years of life outside of the womb. Preborn, the money that we send goes directly to paying for ultrasounds. Ultrasounds cost $28 per ultrasound. 5 ultrasounds cost $140. Whatever you're able to give to Preborn, it goes towards providing women ultrasounds. It goes towards baby food and diapers and things that are needed for the mother and the baby throughout the first 2 years of life outside of the womb. Our money's not wasted on mid-level management. It's spent on supporting life. There's nothing you can do that supports our belief that life begins inside the womb, begins at conception, than supporting Preborn. There's 2 ways to give. You can dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby. Or you can give the way that I prefer to give. Visit preborn.com/fearless. That's preborn.com/fearless. Trust me when you give to Preborn. And when you start getting those notifications about the lives you saved, nothing gives you more fulfillment, a feeling of satisfaction, more joy, more purpose in life than doing that. Send me an email at fearlessblazeshow.com, fearlessblazeshow@gmail.com. Let me know that you've done that. I'll give you a response. Thank you so much. Steve Kim, next.
Have that. And so you need to fix the economy and fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you are suggesting. And
well,
I must say, one of the reasons people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean. Your slurs are all by implication, and you're about to tell me the great replacement theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. I've said what I've said to you right now like 100 times in public. I hope to, if I live long enough, say it 100 more times.
Didn't you get the memo?
How do they get people this stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but damn!
This is what we need more of. For 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, trust me, they're the only one. Founder Glenn Story and his team have been great supporters of this show, which is why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, Second Amendment, and our military veterans and first responders. Their 100% US-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Jason or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use the offer code JASON. Join me and millions of others that have made the switch. Do it today. patriotmobile.com/Jason. That's patriotmobile.com/Jason or call 972-PATRIOT.
Yeah, 모두 다 빨리 박수 쳐 기다리지 말고 서둘러 Reason that I'm back is to feed you raps I see that you are 배불러 So fly
Steve, welcome back. I have an awesome topic. I was just discussing myself here, Bronny James, LeBron James. This kid, I've given him a new nickname, Steve, Third Base. I'm naming him after the rap group Third Base. He was born on third base. LeBron actually thinks, this kid has had this unbelievable path to greatness in the summer league, and LeBron talked all about how it's just unbelievable what all Bronny's overcome. He's born to a billionaire, and he could have done X, Y, and Z. Instead, he chose the path of basketball. Anyway, your thoughts on Bronny James, his summer league debut, 4 points, 2 assists, 21 minutes, got his ankles broken twice. Anyway, your thoughts.
Well, he came as advertised. 4 points. I mean, you want to talk about level of consistency. So you're certainly not going to call him Jam Master Jay or Spinderfella or Spinderella. Yeah, but you're going to go there. I had completely forgotten third base even had a DJ. I had to be honest with you. I really
Richie
did.
Rich, yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's one thing I find interesting. Yeah, he really chose the path of that's less traveled because we don't have enough young black men going into basketball or sports. Okay, so I don't know what to really say. Then Jason, I think you saw some of this on Twitter, how ESPN and other outlets are trying to hype this up or this narrative that somehow Bronny is the next Tim Tebow with the overblown coverage that may not be deserved, or somehow placing them together in a box. And I just thought that was such dishonest to even make that comparison. I mean, say what you want about Tim Tebow as a National Football League quarterback. Look, he wasn't really good, okay? But much of the hype surrounded the fact that, in my view, Jason, I don't know if you agree or disagree, I think he's one of the 5 greatest college football quarterbacks of all time. And again, that does not mean his draft status or whether he was a prototype, but I'm talking about leadership, winning, playing to your system, and doing great things and winning national championships and Heisman trophies. He's a lot like Christian Laettner. Throw out his pro career. If you look up in the prism of what they did in college, they're among the all-time greats. And I'm thinking to myself, this other guy literally could not be a rotation player on a mediocre SC team. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, Steve, I think Tim Tebow is in the argument for the greatest college football player of all time. 2 national championships, a Heisman Trophy. There's few people, I'm not sure if anybody, 2 national championships and a Heisman Trophy. That's pretty hard to accomplish. And again, he was the force, the thing you couldn't really defend for Florida. And so, yeah, Tebow, whatever you thought of his pro career, he's worthy of the hype just because of what he accomplished in college. Bronny was like the 4th or 5th best player on his high school team, the 6th or 7th best player on his USC team, and he will definitely be the 15th best player on the Los Angeles Lakers. It is what it is, and yeah, I'm right there with you as it relates to comparing him to Tim Tebow is a disservice to Tim Tebow. It's a cheap shot, and Tim Tebow didn't have a dad who placed him in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow got into the NFL because of what he accomplished on the college football field. Steve, I want to move on to my favorite topic and becoming one of yours. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark for Rookie of the Year. I want to play you a couple of things, or at least one thing that I find interesting. People are accusing Chicago of stat padding, or the WNBA stat padding. I don't know if last week against the Minnesota Lynx. Nope. 2 games ago. She needed, on July the 5th, she needed a rebound to get to her 10th rebound. And I think this is in the final 20 seconds of the game. She got credited with a rebound that to me was a turnover. I think we have the clip. It's only about 9-10 seconds. Let's play the clip of her 10th rebound at the end of the game.
Here's Carter, accelerated, kick back. Angel Reese looked like she traveled, no call, shot rejected. That's 6 for Magmagor.
So they're giving her credit for that rebound, but they're saying she stepped on the line and turned the ball over at the end. Getting a rebound out of bounds, I just don't know how that's considered a rebound, but they're clearly padding her stats. I'm not even going to criticize it. I'm not going to criticize, because there was a game again, I think a week ago, where against the Minnesota Lynx, she only had 8 points with like 20 seconds to go in a game that they were losing by 9 points. And the Lynx fouled her, sent her to the line, or she had 9 points. She needed to make 1 free throw, and she made 1 to get to her 10th point. Foul. I think it's actually good strategy. Trying to make her a rival for Caitlin Clark, I think, is good for the WNBA, but I do think it's also a gimmick.
You know, this all started a couple weeks ago when you come after the greatest of all time, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. This is now the summer of stat padding, or the whole agenda of it. But Jason, what did I tell you about 2 weeks ago? This was going to be an issue. This thing, there's going to be 2 races that are going to be very contentious, and it's going to divide the country. Although I think only one's going to cause a lot of violent or mostly peaceful protesting if it goes a certain way. The presidential election and the WNBA Rookie of the Year race. I'm not so sure which one's more important. But Jason, there's no doubt about it that there is an agenda now to have Angel Reese win the award. Now, you can make an argument for her, but what I do find interesting is a couple of Twitter accounts that really follow this. I will defer to them. I see that the odds are still like minus 600, minus 700 in favor of Caitlin Clark. So that's pretty stark. That means that she's way out in front. But again, I don't trust polls anymore. I've learned my lesson. I don't trust those polls anymore. But here's the other thing, though, Jason. I just find interesting. The WNBA media, and you know who they are now finding new ways to shoehorn why Angel Reese should win the award. And I think it was Monica McNutt. She said something about, I'm going to use the team standings as one of my metrics. Jason, I've never actually heard that. I thought this was an individual award. And by the way, the Fever have gotten a lot better. I mean, Jason, they looked awful the first week or two, right? They're actually now competing pretty well for the most part. They've actually beaten a team or two with the winning record. And Jason, you're the WNBA guy here. Aren't they actually now in the playoff race?
Yeah, they're in the 7th spot right now. Slightly, I think they got 1, maybe 2 more victories than the Chicago Sky, Angel Reese's team. Look, I don't mind someone factoring in team record into how they vote for Rookie of the Year, but it also needs to be factored in. The Indiana Fever were the worst team in the WNBA. And so if they significantly improve, if they finish with 10 more victories than they did last year, and Angel Reese's Chicago Sky team finishes with 2 more losses than last year, or only 1 more victory than last year, why wouldn't that be the comparison, not the Indiana Fever individual race between the Fever and the Chicago Sky, who actually added more value and more wins to their team than the previous year. Isn't that the Deion Sanders standard we all had set? Oh my God, they only won one game, and now they won 3 more. No one cares that Deion's team finished in last place, just like it did the year before. It was like they won 3 more games. You have to credit all that to Deion. This is tremendous. They set the standard, but again, it's a moving goalpost and moving line. Listen, I'm going to stand by what I said last week. Angel Reese is legitimizing her case for Rookie of the Year. Doesn't mean I think she should be Rookie of the Year, but someone's got to finish second. Someone has to finish second, and Angel Reese is making a case for second place, and if you're making a case for second place, that means you have a chance to make a case for first place, and as long as Caitlin Clark is turning the ball over the way she is and shooting poorly from three-point range the way she is leaving the door slightly ajar for someone else to come in here. Slightly ajar for someone else to come in here. I watch the games. Obviously, I like Caitlin Clark. I don't watch the Chicago Sky. I watch more highlights of them. I don't think other than when they play the Fever, I haven't watched the complete game. Angel Reese and what the Chicago Sky are doing, it's completely uninteresting to me and for most people. But in Angel Reese, the highlights I do see, again, she's a great offensive rebounding person, a great rebounding person. She's an energy person. Her energy is great. Her skill, not so much, although she is figuring out a way to shoot a higher percentage and all that. But anyway, I take it you feel like there is no other option at this point, there is no other option than Caitlin Clark for Rookie of the Year, but somebody's got to be second.
Yeah, they do. Look, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if the team, that was an interesting thing that Monica McNutt said, because I do remember, and again, I was a young child, but I've researched this. Magic and Bird in 79-80 were both great, okay? But I will say this, Magic had a loaded team. I mean, people forget, for Magic, for all that's talked about with the Game 6 that he had against the Sixers, the 42, 14-7 or whatever, and he won the Finals MVP, people forget the regular season MVP was actually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think that was his 6th one, final one that he ever won. But the Rookie of the Year went to Larry Bird, and I think some of it had to do with the fact, to be fair, that the Celtics were legitimately better. I mean, by a lot. They had one of the great turnarounds of all time, but here's the difference. It wasn't just a team turnaround. Magic Johnson had great numbers, but so did Larry Bird. And Larry Bird, for much of his career, maybe all of his career, was a better scorer than Magic. Now, at the same time, they also played different positions, different roles. So that'll be interesting. But I'm just telling you, I see certain agendas now being pulled out of left field to say, well, maybe Angel Reese should get it because of this. I don't know. To me, if the Fever makes the playoffs as the worst team in the league, well, then to Monica McNutt's point, well, Caitlin Clark was one of the catalysts for the worst team in the league suddenly vaulting into the playoffs.
Just to add to your Larry Bird, Magic Johnson deal, the Boston Celtics in 78-79, the year before Larry Bird, they won 29 games.
Yeah.
The Lakers, the year before Magic Johnson, I believe won 45 games.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. And Larry Bird, they went 47-35. I just want to make sure my memory was correct. And they won 60 games the next year. There was a 15-game improvement with Magic Johnson. The Boston Celtics won 29 games. With Larry Bird, they won 61. That is a 32-game improvement based on my math.
And Jason, and Jason, I want to point this out. The Lakers also had Norman Nixon, who made some All-Star games. A young Michael Cooper, who is now going to be a basketball Hall of Famer. I mean, there were some parts there that were already put in place by Bill Sharman in the Laker organization for Irvin Magic Johnson.
Yeah. So, look, winning. Now, again, Larry Bird didn't have Tiny Archibald in his prime. Well, Tiny Archibald was just
Tiny
in
was
his
still good
8th
at that
year.
point. He was still pretty good.
Yeah, was still good. Cedric Maxwell, good young player.
Yeah.
Dave Cowens in his ninth season, and Dave Cowens, I believe, was MVP of the NBA at some point in his career. In 72, 73, he was MVP of the NBA. In 75, 76, he was third in the MVP. He was an all-star. So Larry Bird had some pieces, not great pieces. He certainly didn't have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, arguably the greatest player in NBA history. So anyway, final deal, Steve. I want to talk to you personally about you potentially needing security, potentially getting beaten up by Shakur Stevenson. Give me a little background here. Shakur Stevenson, has gone after you over Twitter. Let me scroll up a little bit. I want to. Steve tweets out, so got home after the William Zapata Golden Boy era, watched the ESPN card, and I faded at the end of it, and I fast forwarded through the fluff and commercials. Some thoughts on Shakur Stevenson. He's good, very good at what he does, but that particular style may not or will not translate to the general public or casual fans. Again, he can box any way he pleases. Fans have the right to support whatever pleases them. For as skilled as Stevenson is, I still think his offensive game is not complete, and I think some of it has to do with not just his temperament inside the ring, but if you recall, he won his title in his 13th pro fight in 2019. From that point on, he's fought just twice a year. Personally, I don't think boxers should be relegated to that so early in their careers, but nowadays, blah, blah, blah. This seems like a legitimate conversation, tweets about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, not really pleased with you. Steve Kim is fruity, zesty ass dude reporting straight hate on me. I'm going to start smacking reporters and taking the charge that come with it. Steve, you need some help here?
First of all, I was flowing like Edgar Allan Poe, was I not? Folks, give me a follow and a retweet. I mean, help your boy up. Second of all, I don't think it was just that tweet. And I don't think he was happy with it, but I thought I was pretty fair. I think he's very good at what he does. If you actually chart what I've written about little Kerr, I've been pretty favorable, but I'm fair. And again, Jason, these guys all want publicists. They don't want fair coverage, which I understand it. And like you've always said, Jason, you wrote for your audience and the truth, not for the people you cover. That's always going to be an issue, but it's even more of an issue now in the age of access journalism. But Jason, what really set off little Kerr is that me and Ishai Smith, a former fighter, we had some back and forth where we're basically on the same page, and I don't think we were going over the top, although Ishai has the license. He was a former world champion. And so we were just telling the truth. In other words, we were quote unquote hatering. Okay? We had the haterade on, as the kids say. Didn't like it. So then he makes it sound like I'm against them, and I'm not. I am a neutral observer who's going to tell the truth. If he doesn't like me, I'll still sleep okay at night. It'll be fine. And he basically said he's going to slap me. And I said, well, I'm glad. Thanks for the warning. And I hope I never see you in a Miami parking garage, because he got into a little incident about 5-6 years ago where he tried to slug a few people, including females. So thanks for the warning, Shakur. I appreciate it. But here's the point that I want to make, Jason. If a guy like Ishai Smith, who's been inside the ring at a high level, and there were other fighters like Marcus Brown, who's been a light heavyweight contender, actually a U.S. Olympian, he's also been very critical where he said, look, Shakur's good. He ain't messing with Tank Davis. Shakur went off on him. Well, I have a question then, Jason. You could say, well, Steve Kim's never boxed. He doesn't fight. We don't care what he says. Okay, I won't argue that point. But what about guys like Ishai and Marcus Brown then? Are you just completely dismissing guys that have also been in that ring? This is where they try to have it both ways. They say they'll dismiss a Steve Kim, which they're allowed to do, but then if the same guys that do the same things as they have done inside the ring have the exact same critiques, then they try to discredit them. It is what it is.
Steve, I just want to say on behalf of Shakur Stevenson and his family, stop Asian hate. That's what I think this is all about. So let's stop Asian hate. And I don't know who I'm directed at, you or Shakur Stevenson. But can't we all just get along? Can't we all get along?
Here's the thing. The last family that came after me was Ryan Garcia. Well, how'd that work out? Who's the piece of now? Huh. Yeah. But look, Shakur is a very good boxer. He's very clever. Ring generalship. I think he's one of the best in the world. But he's got to understand, he's not always entertaining. And if you want to make the 8-figure paydays, I think there is an element where you have to be an entertainer. And that's what Tank Davis is. And now he's going to be a free agent. And my view is this. Top Rank is not going to re-sign him. He turned down an extension that was very lucrative several months ago. They tried to circle back. Top Rank said no thanks. So what I would say to little Kerr is like you're a free agent now. You want to test your value on the open market. Jason, doesn't every other athlete in every other sport yearn to be a free agent and get the best offers available? All I could say to little Kerr is good luck to you. Good luck.
Thank you, Steve. Great job as always. We'll see you next time. Guys, I want to talk to you about my great friends at Hillsdale College. I'm tired of scrolling through shows on TV and finding nothing but the same mind-numbing content. You've probably been there too. Don't waste the precious little time you have with that nonsense. Instead, use that time to learn something new and inspiring. That's why I'm so excited that Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses in the most important and enduring subject. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, the stories of the Book of Genesis, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, or the history of ancient Christian church with Hillsdale College's online courses, all available for free. That's right, free. I personally recommend you sign up for Ancient Christianity. In this 11-lecture course, you'll study the inspiring stories of Christ, his apostles, and faithful ones throughout the first 4 centuries of Christianity. You'll also learn the arguments of key early Christian apologists who defended the Christian faith in the face of persecution. The course is self-paced so that you can start whenever and wherever. Enroll now in Ancient Christianity to discover the improbable and miraculous story of Christianity. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/fearless to enroll. There's no cost and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/fearless to register. Hillsdale.edu/fearless. Stay tuned. I got a new segment for you. Justice for TT. Next.
This high-level shooter is a unanimous All-American first-team selection, Dalton Connect.
That is not correct.
Dalton Connect, the white guy. They're showing you the guy from France. This is ESPN.
What are you talking about, Willis? That him!
Reed Shepard, 3rd pick in the draft. His dad's name is Jeff, not John. Play the clip.
Be in this position. He said that, you know what, I really wouldn't have believed you. He has risen so far up the boards. He's an outdoorsman.
ESPN is intentionally putting on a clown show. This is Homie the Clown, Stephen A. Smith.
Way to go, JJ Redick! Way to go! Good job, JJ!
We got a clown show.
Da circus, da Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
I absolutely love this. This is our new segment, Justice for TT. We are going to find the most outlandish claims, far-fetched claims of racism that we can, and we are going to demand justice for them. Justice for TT. If you haven't seen the movie Jones Plantation, I suggest you do. It will help you understand our fight for justice for TT. And by the way, TJ, Tiffany, whoever's watching, I want a Justice for TT Fearless shirt made. So I'm gonna start wearing them for these Justice for TT segments, and just occasionally. Anyway, we're in the pursuit of justice, and so today's example of Justice for TT and this Justice for TT movement that we're starting here at Fearless. I'm reading from a headline, People magazine. The war and treaty felt betrayed after finding cotton plant in dressing room. Disrespect is what I felt. War and treaty, that's a country gospel, or not a country group, not a gospel group, it's a country group. So let me read to you from this People story. The war and treaty are opening up about a disturbing discovery made in their dressing room at the Coca-Cola Sips and Sounds Musical Festival last month. Ahead of their June 29th performance at the Austin event, the husband and wife country duo revealed to the Hollywood Reporter that there was a cotton plant in their room, which they found deeply offensive. Quote from Michael Trotter Jr. "We all know what that means. We all know what that represents in this country to people that look like us." Tanya Trotter noted that her experience with the incident hits hard when you're a granddaughter of a sharecropper. Quote, "My grandfather actually bought the plantation that he picked cotton on in New Bend, North Carolina. My family actually still lives there. So when you see these things, you look at it and you're like, wow, even though my grandfather bought the plantation, there's still a lot of pain rooted for people that didn't get an opportunity to change it into economic development for their families." The Blank Page singer said that she didn't want to sit in there and educate anyone about why the cotton plant was an insult, because it's not my position to educate anybody on what cotton is and what it represents in this country. It just shouldn't happen. Beyond it just being about racism, it's broader now. It's now a safety issue because we have to feel safe coming to these festivals. Recalling his emotions at the time of the incident, Michael explained, "Anger is what I felt. Disrespect is what I felt. Sadness is what I felt. Sadness not just because of what the plant represents to people that look like me, but sadness for myself because I am a son of this country." How do they do this? How? And I know I'm an idiot, and I'm not the smartest person, but if I walked in a hotel room, green room, hotel, walked into any room, and there was a cotton plant, I wouldn't even know it was a cotton plant. I would just know it's a plant, and that it was white, and I wouldn't know. And look, and maybe because she's the granddaughter of a former sharecropper, maybe she's more in tune. It's like, oh my God, there's a cotton plant in the room. Help! I don't know. Do these people wear cotton underwear, cotton t-shirts? Where does it end? What? Your grandfather bought a plantation that grew cotton. So when your grandfather would step out of the house and look at a cotton field, did he go, oh my God, there's cotton? Oh, I'm so traumatized. I'm picking cotton. I own a plantation that grows cotton. Oh my God. This is, who's telling people to do this? You can't tell me this is authentic. You can't tell me this is real. I cannot believe it. I know too many people. No one I know feels this way or is this on the lookout. Do you understand that a cotton plant, that's God's creation? I mean, this is, okay, Bubba Wallace walked into a room and thought he saw a noose, allegedly. Or I'm sorry, not Bubba Wallace, someone else, because I don't even think Bubba Wallace saw it. Someone told him, thought he saw a noose, it's a pull on a, but at least a noose, you know, God didn't make nooses. Man did that. The only thing, God made cotton and cotton plants. How are you traumatized at seeing a cotton plant? It would almost be like, hey, War and Treaty, we put a nice fruit bowl in your dressing room. And there's apples in there, there's bananas in there, there's grapes in there, there's cherries in there, and there's watermelon. Oh my God. They put watermelon and banana in my dressing room fruit bowl. Don't they know what that means to me, the people that look like me? Watermelon and bananas, that's racist. What are we doing? This is crazy. And this is a story in People magazine and many other media outlets picked up on this story. And they're treating it seriously. Like these people were traumatized because they walked into a room and there was a cotton plant. This man, I'm sure, was in some cotton underwear and probably had a cotton t-shirt on. He's wore cotton in the last week, I guarantee it. And oh, now they don't feel safe because there was a cotton plant. This is cosplay. This is why I love that movie, The Jones Plantation. Justice for TT. And someone help me out here. Someone in the comments. Maybe I'm just wrong, and I'm just. But you know, I was in a Twitter back and forth over the weekend into the day about this whole racism thing that everybody wakes up every day looking to fight racism. And so then first thing they gotta do is hunt down some racism to fight. And this is what their entire life is built around. And so I was arguing with people that calling themselves Christians, and I believe they are Christians, but they just have a complete misunderstanding of like, I'm trying to explain to them, hey man, Marxists created the word racism. They handed racism to you as, hey, go hunt this down and go fight this. God in the Bible wants you to fight idolatry. So if you wake up every day like, hey, trying to fight idolatry, the first place you're going to look is in the mirror and look at you. Am I making something an idol? What am I doing here? And so idolatry is about examining yourself and eliminating idolatry. The hunt for racism is about pointing a finger at someone else. Oh, and it reduces you to this type of stupidity. Oh, I walked into a hotel room and there was a cotton plant and I'm black. Therefore, I'm offended. We got to stop it. Idolatry's killing us. Racism is a distraction. That's not to say that there aren't some people that exist. But anytime you are reduced to say, hey, they put a cotton plant in my hotel room or in my green room or wherever, and oh my God, I was traumatized and I was angry. You're on a fool's endeavor. You're actually making the point that like there's so little racism out here that I have to reduce it to this silly, inconsequential stuff. Someone called me a name. Someone didn't give me the proper service at a restaurant. Someone didn't let me. I'll just end with this. Justice for TT. Play tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow.
freedom. Came like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all this moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation, my sister, no relation. We all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on the corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free. We want freedom.